Hello and welcome to this course on how to become a backend developer using Django and Django REST framework. I am a full stack developer and a top rated plus freelancer at Upwork.com. In this course, we will learn how to create a backend using Django and Django REST framework to build RESTful APIs. We will then test these APIs using Postman and we will push the code to GitHub. We will also learn how to deploy our code on free hosting providers like Netlify for our staging environment. For production environment, we will use AWS EC2. We will also learn how to configure AWS RDS database and S3 Bucket, and how to use Johnnycon and Nginx for server-side configuration. In addition, we will cover setting up domain and SSL for our APIs to make secure connection for our users. To start this course, you will need a basic understanding of Python programming. If you're not familiar with programming or Python, you can take my Python 1-hour tutorial to get ready for this course. The video link of the Python tutorial is given in this video description. We will cover this course in 6 parts. In this section, we will start by discussing what is Django and why it is a popular framework for building web applications. I will also introduce you to a Django REST framework, which makes it easy to build RESTful APIs using Django framework. We will cover the basics of setting up Django and Django REST framework. We will start by installing Python and setting up a virtual environment. Next, we will install Django and Django REST framework using pip. We will create a new Django project and a new Django app for our APIs. Also, we will create our models, run migrations, and set up the database. At the end of this section, you will have a basic Django and Django REST framework setup ready to go. In this section, we will learn how to test our APIs using Postman, a powerful tool for testing APIs and documenting APIs. We will go over the different HTTP methods get, post, put, and delete to show you how to test each one. You will learn how to make sure your APIs are returning the correct status codes and responses. This section is crucial for making sure your APIs are working as expected before deploying them to a live environment. In this section, we will learn how to push our code to GitHub. GitHub is a powerful tool for version control and collaboration. We will cover how to use GitHub to keep track of your code and collaborate with others. You will learn how to set up a new repository, push code to it, and keep track of changes. This is an important step in the development process and will help you keep your code organized and easily accessible. In this section, we will cover how to use Vercel to deploy our code for testing and staging environment. You will learn how to create a new project on Vercel, deploy your code, and view it live on the web. This is a great way to test your code and get it ready for staging deployment. In this section, we will discuss how to deploy our code on AWS EC2 with RDS and S3. AWS is a popular cloud hosting platform. We will go over the different components of AWS EC2 and how to set up a new instance. We will also learn how to configure RDS and S3 and how to use Johnnycon and Nginx for server configuration. In this last section, we will learn how to set up domain and SSL certificate for our project. We will go over the different setups involved in buying a domain, setting up DNS, and installing an SSL certificate to ensure a secure connection for our users. By the end of this course, you will have a good understanding how to become a backend developer using Django and Django REST framework. So if you're ready to learn how to become a backend developer using Django REST framework, then grab a notebook and follow along. We have got a lot to cover. Also, if you have not subscribed my channel, you can subscribe now. It helps to create more courses and tutorials for free. So let's get started. To get started, you will need to have Python installed on your computer. Python is widely used open source programming language that is great for beginners and experienced programmers. In this video, we will walk through the steps to download and install Python on your Windows, Mac, or a Linux machine. First, we will go to the Python website at python.org. From there, click on Downloads tab and select the version of Python you want to install. For this tutorial, we will be using the Python latest version. Next, select the appropriate installer for your operating system. If you are using Windows, select the Windows installer and download the file. For Mac and Linux, select the appropriate options and follow the steps to download and install. Once the download is complete, open the installer file and follow on-screen instructions to complete the installation. Click Install. You need to enter your password if you are using Mac. Make sure to select the option to add Python to your path environment variable so you can run it from anywhere on your system if you are using Windows. After the installation is complete, you can open your terminal or command prompt to confirm the installation. You can type Python 3 version so it will confirm Python is installed on your system or not. Okay, so Python is installed on my system. If you are using Windows, you have to just type Python and version. You don't need to add Python 3. Okay, so you can run this command to confirm your Python installation on Windows machine. Also, you can type Python or Python 3 to start the Python interpreter. This is a great way to test your installation and try out some simple commands. That's it. You have successfully installed Python on your computer. You can now start writing and running Python code. I am going to show you how to install Visual Studio Code, one of the most popular code editors for web and software development and some of the most productive extensions for Python and Django development. First, let's go to the Visual Studio Code official website at code.visualstudio.com. Once you are on the website, click on the download button to download the latest version of Visual Studio Code for your operating system. I am using Mac, so I will download the Mac operating system version. It will take some time to download the file. Next, open the downloaded file to start the installation process. Follow the instructions to complete the installation. On Windows, you will need to click Next several times and then click Install and Finish. On Mac, you will need to drag the Visual Studio Code app to the application folders. On Linux, you will need to extract the download archive and then follow the instructions to install the software. Once the installation is complete, you can launch Visual Studio Code by double-clicking on the icon on your desktop or in the Start menu. Okay, so you can choose the theme you want to go with, light or dark. Okay, No Visual Studio Code is installed. Let's take a look at the interface. On the left side panel, you will see the Explorer section where you can open, create, and manage your files and projects. On the right side panel, you can write your code and preview your changes. You can also open the integrated terminal by clicking on the terminal button. Okay, so you can easily open the terminal as well in the Visual Studio Code. Now open the extensions view by clicking on the extension icon on the left side panel. Now we will install some extensions that will improve our productivity while coding in Python and Django. Let's first install Python extension. Okay, just type Python so you can install the first extension. This extension adds syntax highlighting, linting, and auto-completion for Python. This Python extension helps us to write cleaner and more organized code. It highlights the syntax, checks for errors, and suggests auto-completion based on the code we have written so far. So it will take some time for installing the extension. Okay, so extension is installed. Now let's install the second extension, which is Django. Select first one and install. This extension adds Django specific snippets, syntax highlighting, and code navigation. The Django extension makes it easier for us to work with Django projects. It provides code snippets from common Django functions and highlights Django specific syntax. Okay, so Django extension is installed. Now let's install another extension, which is tab 9. Select the first one and install. Tab 9 is an AI powered autocomplete plugin for Visual Studio Code that provide the suggestions for coding as you type. It uses machine learning to predict the next word or line of code based on the context of your code, which can save time and improve accuracy. Tab 9 supports multiple programming languages and is highly customizable, allowing you to tweak its behavior to suit your preference. Okay, so we have tab 9 installed. Now let's install the next extension, which is Mentlify Doc Writer. I will just type Mentlify. Okay, select the first one and install. This extension helps you generate professional looking documentation in Markdown format. The Mentlify Doc Writer makes it effortless to create documentation for our projects. So we can use these extensions to generate documentation for our code automatically. I will be showing you how to create a new Django REST framework project with a virtual environment. Using a virtual environment is a great way to keep your Python dependencies organized and isolated from other projects on your computer. We will be using the command line to create a virtual environment, and then we will install Django and Django REST framework. But let's create a folder for our project. You can use terminal of Visual Studio Code. Use this command to create a folder for your project. I will give name Backend course. Okay, so now I will open this folder in Visual Studio Code. Just open. You can use this tab, or you can also open from here as well. So I will just open the folder. So project folder is now open. Next I have to open the terminal. The first step is to create a new virtual environment. I will show you how to create a virtual environment. So first of all, we need to install a virtual environment. I will use this command, pip install virtual. Okay, this command will install the virtual environment. Okay, so it's installed. Next is we have to create a new virtual environment. We can use this command, virtual environment, and then we have to give name to our virtual environment. You can give any name. I will give name env. Okay, so you can see here new virtual environment is created. Okay, next we have to do one thing here. We have to activate our virtual environment. So we can activate it, virtual environment name, and then bin activate. Okay, our virtual environment is activated now. We can also deactivate using deactivate command. Okay, so I will activate again. So we need to keep it active. Now let's install Django using pip install Django command. Okay, next we have to create requirement.txt file. This file will contain all the packages of our project. So we can use this command to freeze our packages in requirements.txt file. Okay, new file is created, so we can see the packages are in this file. Later on, if we will install any other packages, so we will run this command, so all the packages will be automatically saved in this file, and this file we will use later on during our deployments. Next, we will create a new Django project. We can use command Django admin start project. We can give any name. I'm going to give name backend. Okay, and dot. So make sure to give this dot at the end of your command. Otherwise, one file which is manage.py file will be created in another root directory. So just hit enter. So you can see our backend project is created now. Now let's create a new Django app using command python manage.py start app. I will give name online shop. This will be the app name. You can give any name if you want. Okay, so I will hit enter. Okay, so this is online shop app is created. Let's open this online shop folder and create a new file here. Give name urls.py file, and also create a new file serializer.py. Okay, now we have complete structure of our project. Let's discuss the structure of our Django REST framework project. First, we can discuss backend folder. In this folder, we have an individual Django application within the project. It contains the models, views, serializers. If we discuss about serializer.py file, it defines the structure of the data that is sent and received by the API. They convert data between Python and JSON formats. Then it is an important file which is a views.py file. Okay, this file handles incoming HTTP request and process data using serializers and return a response. Then we have urls.py file. This file maps URLs to views, determining which view is responsible for handling a particular request. Then we have a model file. This file will define the structure of a data in database. We will also discuss these files in details when we will be implementing codes in these files. So this is a general structure, and some DRF projects may differ based on specific requirements. So before we create APIs, let's discuss client requirements. Imagine we have a client has some requirements where a client asks a developer to create a database structure, APIs for a category, product, and order using Django REST framework. The client also requested that when an order is placed, the user should receive a notification via email. Finally, the client wanted the API deployed on free hosting server for staging environment and on Amazon Web Services for the production environment with an RDS database and S3 bucket. So if we have these clients requirement, how we can then build our backend project and deliver our work in the form of APIs. Okay. Now let's implement client requirements so we can deliver work. As per client requirements, let's by creating the necessary models for category, product, and order in Django. These models will be then connected to the Django REST framework to create necessary APIs. The APIs will be designed to allow users to interact with the database and retrieve information about categories, product, and orders. We will start with model.py file. In the model file of online shop app, we will define the structure of data in the database. After adding model, I will explain you the structure of whole code. So now let's start. We can create some models. Okay. Before we create our models, let's first add this online shop app in our backend setting.py file. Let me close this. So you have to just go to installed apps and just add this online shop app here. Okay, now let's move to the online shop models.py file. Here we need to create some models so we can build our database structure. First, I will create timestamp model. Models.model. This will be our first model. Then we will create second model. I will give name category. And we will inherit timestamp model. Next we will create product. This will be our product model, and we will inherit timestamp model. You are noticing one thing here, that when we are writing code, we are getting some prediction like next line, next letter, what will be. So it is due to tab9 starter, which is the AI extension. It's helping us to predict next line or what you can write next in the code. So it is helpful extension if you have already installed. Okay, so it will help you to create more accurate code. Next I will create a model which will be order model. I will inherit timestamp model. Okay, pass. Okay, So these are our models. Okay, basically these model will build our database. Okay, so imagine this is a category table, this is a product table, and this is a order table. Okay, so now we will define values. You can also see it columns, so we will add now the columns in our models. Okay, so then we can build our database structure easily. Now let's start with our first model. I will here create two fields created at models dot datetime field auto no add is equal to true, and next updated add, which is models dot datetime field auto no. Okay, so one column name is created add and second is updated add. We will use these two columns in order, product and category. When a new category is added, so date will be automatically assigned that when the category was created, and if we update any category information, so the updated date will be recorded as well. Okay, now let me explain you the difference between auto no add and auto no. In Django, auto no add and auto no are two options for automatically setting the value of a field when a model is created or updated. Auto no add sets the field value to the current date and time when the object is first created. Once the object is saved, and value of the field will not be updated on subsequent saves. This is useful for fields such as created add, which should only be set once. No, auto no. Auto no sets the field value to the current date and time every time the object is saved. This is useful for fields such as updated add, which should be updated whenever the object is changed. Okay, now let's declare this class is abstract class. So abstract is equal to true, so we can make sure this is an abstract class. Okay, so if I want to document this class, how I can do? So we have already installed Mentlify doc writer. Okay, so we can generate doc for this code. So it is a very useful method to document your code. Okay, so it's improved the code quality. Okay, so other developers, when they read your code, they will understand better that what you are doing in your code. Okay, so you can see we have created a document for this class model. So you can see this is an abstract class that will be inherited by other models. Okay, it will add two fields to the model that inherited, created and updated add. These fields will be automatically set to the current time and object when it is created and updated. So it is a very useful. If you want to understand the code, okay, you can also comment any part of the code. Okay, so it will help you to understand the code better. Okay, for now I will remove it. Okay, now let's move to our next model, okay, which is a category. Let's define some fields, columns. I will give name, category name first, models dot char field maximum length we can give 180. So you can increase, decrease this maximum length, so it depends upon the category length you have. Okay, and the next we can add description for our category field. Okay, we can models dot char field, maximum length, we can say it, we can give it to 250. Okay, so we have created two fields for our category table. Now let's add a function str self return self dot category name. So if you want to know what is the purpose of this code, you can easily comment. Okay, so it will tells you what this code, what the part of this code does. The str function is a special function that is called when an object is created or returned. Okay, so when object will be created, okay, so it will return the category name. So we will see this magic when we will be adding some data on our admin panel. So you will see when we will add some data, so it will return the category name. Okay, so for now I will remove this code. Okay, next we have a product table. Okay, now let's add some columns to this product table. Let's add product. Let's add product name. This will be models. This will be models dot char field, maximum length we can say 180. Next field we have a description of the product. We can say models dot text field. Okay, and maximum length we can say 180. So when we have some paragraph or any more detailed description, so we can use a text field instead of char field. Okay, so if you want to update this description, you can update it with this text field. Okay, if we have some lengthy paragraph, so we should use text field instead of char field. Okay, next we need to add a new column which will be the price of the product. So here I can add decimal field, maximum digits, I can say 10, decimal places I can say 2. Okay, so you can also add decimal fields as well. Next we have to add a new column which will be the image of the product. Okay, we can say model start. So here we need to make sure which kind of field we are going to add. Okay, we can add image field or file field as well. Okay, so we have two options, image field, okay, or we can also use a file field as well. Okay, in the file field we can upload the PDF, any format of images as well, but in the image field we have to only upload the image. Okay, so I will use file field. Okay, next we have to tell the path where these images will be saved, a folder name. So I will give name products. Okay, so all the images will be saved into this folder. This folder will be created automatically. You don't need to create this folder anywhere. So next field is category. Okay, so in category field we have to inherit the category from this category table. Okay, so we can make sure that this product is belong to this category. Okay, so we can use foreign key here. Okay, so you can also choose the text from here as well. And next we have to give the model name, okay, category. And next we have to add an option on delete model start cascade. Okay, so this is our product table columns. So here you can see, because our class model name is category, which is starting with smaller c. Okay, so we can capitalize this c. Okay, so you can see now we have the product table is also ready. Okay, next we have to add function, str function. We need to add self. Here we need to return self dot product name. Okay, so now we are done with the product class table. So you can see code if I zoom out. Okay, so this is, so far we have completed. Okay, now let's move to the order table. Let's create columns for our order table. The first column we have a customer name. We can create models dot char field. Okay, maximum length we can say 180. Okay, and next we can create our customer email. This email will be required, so we can send confirmation to our customer that your order is placed. Models start email field. Okay, so this will be an email field. Next we have another column which is a product. So we will inherit this product from product table as a foreign key. Product, this will be the class name. On delete model start cascade. Okay, so the last column will be quantity. Okay, so we can say model start positive integer field. Okay, so it will be a positive integer field. Alright, so now we have almost created all these tables, but let's define str function for this table. Return, we can return the order number here. self.id. Okay, so we are done with our all the models. Okay, we need to just review that everything is fine, no mistakes in our syntax. Okay, so otherwise when you will be migrating database creation time, any issue can occur. So make sure all these syntax, everything is fine. Okay, now let me explain you all these models and how these model works. Okay, and how this code syntax work. Alright, first we have timestamp model. Okay, in this model we have two fields, which is one is created, second is updated. So these two dates we will use in other models, as we have inherited this timestamp model for our all other models for category, product and order. So here if you see on delete model dot cascade, what is this? Okay, this syntax on delete model start cascade is an option in Django model to specify what should happen when the reference object is deleted. It's mean when using onDelete, models start cascade if the reference object is deleted, all the objects that have foreign key relationship to it will be also deleted. So this is useful for maintaining reference integrity, ensuring that related objects are deleted when the reference object is deleted. Okay, so you can use this onDelete model dot cascade when using foreign keys in other tables. So this model.py file in Django is used to define the structure of database tables and the fields they will contain. It is part of the model view template architecture in Django, and it is responsible for defining the data structure and relationship between models in the application. So in models.py file, you can define your data models as Python classes, which are then used to create database table in the backend. Each class defines a table, and each attribute in the class defines field within a table. You can run two commands to create database table. Open your terminal. I will increase the font. Okay, first of all, you have to run python manage.py, make migrations. Okay, so it will create tables for our database. Okay, next we have to create database using another command, which is python manage.py migrate. Okay, all right, our database is also created. So this is the basic setup for creating models for products, categories, and order in Django. You can build on the top of this and add more fields, relationship, and custom methods as needed. Now let's create a super user to access admin panel using a command. We can use a command python manage.py create super user. Enter the username admin, create email for your super user. I will give name admin@gmail.com. Next we have to create password. Okay, now our super user is created. So now let's run a command so we can visit our admin interface. Python manage.py run server. So now our project is running on this URL. Okay, just copy this URL and paste in your browser. Okay, so you can see our Django app is running. So what we can do here, we can go to our admin. Okay, so we have created our admin super user, so we can enter the password and username. Okay, and now we can log in. Okay, so this is our admin where we will see our database tables. Okay, so you can see here we don't have a database table that we have created, which is product, category, and order table. So if we want to display these database tables on admin interface, we need to add these table in admin.py file. Okay, so if I show you here, you have to go to this admin.py file. Okay, so in this file we will add our model classes. Okay, so then our database tables will appear in our interface of admin panel. All right, now let's import our models in this file. From .models, import category model, and then product model, and then order model. Okay, so we have imported our all the models in this file. Now let's register our model. So we can see these models on our admin interface. Admin dot register. Okay, so we have to give name to our model. Okay, and then we have to declare the class category admin dot model admin, and next we have to tells our interface that how many fields we want to display. We can display category name. We have category name, and then next we have created at, and then we have updated at. So I'm using these fields from our model. So if we look into our model, category name, okay, and description, and these two files, because we have already inherited this timestamp model. So let me go back to our admin.py file. One is category name, we have added in the list. Second, we can add description. Okay, so this is also part of our category model. Okay, now we have registered our category model. Now let's register our next product model. We can just copy the above code and replace the model name. Okay, and we can also replace the model name here, product admin. Okay, and then we know we have a product name, description. Okay, and then we have some other fields. If we look into our product table, we have price, image, and category. Okay, let me go back. So I can add here price, quantity. Okay, so we have product name, description, price, image. Okay, so image and category is missing. Let me go back. So we have price, we don't have quantity, so we can just remove and add image. And next we have field, which is category. Okay, so we have now registered our product model as well. Now let's register our order model. We can replace with order admin. Okay, here we need to replace the fields, which is our customer name. Okay, and second we have customer email. Okay, and then we have some other fields, which is product. Okay, so we have also registered our order model as well. One thing is missing, which is a quantity, so we can also add quantity as well. Okay, we can give quotations. Alright, so all the models are now registered. Now let's go back to our server. I will just run command python manage.py run server. Okay, alright, now let me go to this path. Let me refresh it. Wow, okay, so now you can see our tables are now listed on our admin interface. Let's go to the category, and if you want to add category, okay, now let me add a category. We have a shoes category, shoes details. Okay, So we can add. So category shoes is added. So this item is returned. So this was about str function. Okay. So now let's add another category, which is, we can say, dress category. Give detail here. Okay. So we have two categories added. Now let's add our products. You can give name boy shoes. Okay. So this is a product. I will add some description. You can add price. Next you have to choose the image of the shoes product. Okay, so you can choose picture. Alright, I have chosen a picture. Next I have to select the category. So as I'm adding the product, which is a shoes product, okay, so I will select the category shoes and then I will save it. Okay, so I can also add more categories as well. Now let's create an order. We have a customer. I can give name code with mo, and the email of the customer is code with mo. Alright, we can select the product and we can give the quantity, okay, and save. Okay, so we can see our order number 1 is created. So you can add, edit and delete objects of these models using admin interface. So this is the basic setup for adding models to your Django admin interface. You can customize the appearance and behavior of models in the admin interface by adding field sets or a list display. Okay, so you can easily perform other operations. Okay. Alright, now let's create APIs. We will now work on views.py file, serializer.py file and urls.py file to create APIs. Before we create APIs, we need to install Django REST framework. Okay, so we can create Django REST framework package in our terminal. Now install the Django REST framework package. So you can do this by running command in your terminal. Pip install Django REST framework. Make sure the command is correct. Okay, so Django REST framework is being installed. Okay, done. So the package is installed now. Let's add this package to our requirement.txt file. Okay, we can run the previous command, which is pip freeze requirements.txt. Okay, you can see our requirement.txt file is updated with our Django REST framework package. Now add this REST framework to your installed apps setting in setting.py file. Let's go to your backend folder, go to the settings.py file. You have to add this REST framework here. Okay, so we are done with our REST framework installation. Okay, so let's move to online shopping folder and go to the serializer.py file. First we will create serializers for our models. In Django REST framework, serializer py file is a module that defines the structure of a data that is to be sent and received by the API. It converts the complex data types such as Django models into Python data type that can be easily rendered into a JSON or other content types. Serializer also validates incoming data, ensuring that it meets the requirements defined in the serializer class. It also handles the conversion of Python data types into a JSON or other content type for sending to the client. First of all, import some important packages we need from REST framework. Import serializers, okay, and next we have to import models. Import. Here we are going to import only order model, okay, because we will only serialize and we will create model for our order model. Okay, so we can create APIs and send some request. We can create our order, we can update our order as well. We can delete our order as well using RESTful APIs. So you can create a class of serializer here, order serializer. Serializers dot model serializer. Make sure the syntax is correct. Alright, so this is the class order serializers dot model serializers. Okay. Next we have to add class meta, so we can add the model name, because this serializer class is for our model order. Okay, and next we have to tell this serializer that we have to serialize some specific fields or all. So we will serialize our all fields. So here we have defined serializer for our model order, and we have given name order serializer. So this serializer will be used to convert objects of the models into JSON or other format for transmission over the internet. Next we have to work on views.py file. In Django REST framework, views.py file is a module that contains the views for your API that handle incoming HTTP requests, defines the endpoints of the API and actions to be performed for each endpoint. It also returns appropriate HTTP response, typically in the form of JSON or other serialized data. It also implements the business logic of your API by using built-in or custom views provided by Django REST framework. Let's import some necessary imports for this file. First we will import our models. We will import order model, and then we have to import serializers from serializer file. From serializers, import order serializer. Next, import API view from REST framework views. From REST framework dot views, import API view. Next, import status from REST framework. Import status, and then import response from REST framework dot response, import response. Alright, we have imported all necessary imports. Okay, now let's create views. Class, we will use class based views. class order view, okay, and we will use API view here. We will define some method. It will be a get, post, patch and delete method. First let me define get method, self comma request. Okay, so this is our get method. We will use try and accept so we can make sure the response and the code is working fine using API request. So first we will get all the orders from order table objects dot all, okay, because this is a get method, so we will get all the orders using our API when we will test these APIs in Postman. Then we have to define serializer, okay, we have already defined order serializer. And we have to import this orders object many true. All right, so next we have to return the response in response. We will return two things. First will be the data serializer dot orders, and the next we will return message orders data fetch successfully, okay, accept block, okay, so in accept block we can return response here. We also need to return two things. We can return the same response but without no data, because if the request fail, okay, so here we will mention something went wrong, okay, if while fetching the data, okay. All right, so okay, so this is our get method. We will use this get method when we will be testing our APIs. Now let's create another method, which is a post method, def post self request, okay. We will use a try accept block here as well, okay. All right, so first we will get the request data, then we have serializer, in serializer we have order serializer, we will pass this data, okay, and then we have condition. If the serializer is not valid, okay, in case of our serializer is not valid, if the values sent through APIs are not valid, so we can show some message in response, okay. So in response we can copy this response, so we can save our time here, okay. I will just copy this. And response, what we can send here. Here we need to make syntax correct. Okay, serializer is valid. Okay, if the serializer is not valid, we have to show serializer error here. Okay, serializer dot error. Okay, so here we can show the serializer error, and we can show something went wrong. First, when someone will post the data using API, it will first check, validate if the serializer is valid or not. Okay, if the serializer is valid, then it will save the serializer, so then the data will be saved in our table. Okay, if the data saved successfully, if serializer is valid, so then it will skip this part and then it will go to this line and will save the data into the database. Okay, and then we can return a response serializer dot data. Okay, and here we can show the message new order is created. Okay, new order is created or placed. Okay, next we have a try block which is completed. No, in case if the serializer is also valid, okay, also everything is fine, but somehow any other exception occurred, so we can use except block here. Okay, what we can return here, you can just copy this response. Imagine if any error occur, okay, we can just show some message, something went wrong in creation of order. Okay, so it's very easy. Alright, so you can show this message if any other issue occurred in posting data. Okay, so we have a try and accept block is created now. Okay, I want to show you another thing as well, which is status code. While we are sending the message, we can also send the status as well. How we can do? We can send the status in case we have a status dot http. We can send the status, because if something happened bad, how we can send? We can send, imagine this is a bad request, so we can send this status code. So we can send this status as well if something happened while posting data using post method. Also here you can see if the request successfully proceeded. Here we can show the status dot http 201 created. Okay, when something is created, so we can show this message and status code as well. Okay, here we can also send some status as well. Status dot http 400 bad request. Okay, we can also add. So you can see we can send message and status. It is a best practice to send status as well the message. Also here we can add a status code as well in this our get method. Okay, when the successfully data is fetched, okay, we can send message 200. Imagine we have a status here. I can say http $200. Okay, all right, so we can send this status if the orders data fetched successfully. And here we can add this status code. Okay, so now we are done with our get and post method. Now let's move to the patch and delete method. Alright, now let's add patch method. Patch self request. We will have two blocks, try and accept. Okay, so let's implement try block first. I can zoom it so you can see it clearly. Okay, so let me add something. First we have to declare our data object, request dot data. Okay, and then we will have order. So here we will filter order dot objects dot filter. We will need to first check while during updating any order, we need to make sure this order is exist in our database or not. Okay, so as we have a request of this ID, so we can first confirm. Okay, so it will first confirm the requested ID exists in our database or not. Okay, if not order dot exist, if order is not exist, so we have to show a response. Okay, so we can just copy this response so we can save time. We have to show a response. In response we can send a message, order is not found. Okay, with this ID, and we can send this status code which is 404, and we can send this status code which is not found, so we can update this status code as well. And the next, if the ID of the order exists in database, then we can update the order detail. How we can do? Let's create a serializer object. Is equal to order serializer, and we have to update the item. Data is equal to data and partial. It's mean if we have only updated description or the quantity or price, so it will only update those particular fields. Okay, it will not update all the fields. So it depends upon the request. If the request is to update all the fields in the database, okay, so it will handle accordingly. All right, okay, then we have to check if the serializer is valid or not. Okay, if serializer is not valid, we can show the same response. Okay, we can just copy this and we can paste it here. In case if the serializer is not valid, okay, then we can show this error. Okay, we can also show another response which is 500 bad request. Okay, and next, if data updated successfully, we can save the data in our database. Okay, serializer dot save. Okay, if the data is updated successfully, we can show the response. Okay, in response we can show the same message here we have in the post, so we can copy this response, and if you can just paste it here. Okay, we can show the message, order is updated successfully. Okay, so we can also update the message to 200. Okay, all right. Okay, now we are done with our try block. Now let's add some response to our accept class in case of any issue comes. Okay, in accept class we can return response which we have returned in our post request, which is this one. We can just copy this response if something went wrong, so we can show this message in response. Alright, now we are done with our patch method. Now let's move to our delete method, which is the last method in our view start py file. Okay, now let's create our last method, which is delete self request. We will have two blocks, try and accept. Okay, in try block we can first filter out if the ID exists or not. Okay, so in try block let's first get the data of request dot data, and next we have to confirm if the ID exists in our database or not. So we can check in our table objects dot filter ID is equal to data dot get ID. Okay, so first it will check if the ID exists in our database. Okay, if in case if not order exists, we can show a message. Okay, we can show a response that we have created in our patch method. Okay, we can just copy this response if order is not found in our database, so we can show same response here as well. All right. Okay, next we have to check the ID exists in our database. We can delete the order. Okay, how we can delete order 0 dot delete. Okay, this syntax will delete our order with the ID provided in API request. Okay, order 0, and then we can return a successful response which is 200. Okay, in case of order deleted. Okay, we can return a response. Okay, all right, so we can show message order is deleted. Okay, so this message is also working. Okay, now we have to add exception in our accept block. Okay, if something happened wrong, we can just copy this exception. Okay, from patch request. Okay, we can show message here something went wrong in deleting the order. Okay, okay, we are done with our views.py file. We have created all the methods for our order view. Okay, so now let's move to another file, which is urls.py file. Okay, in this file we will define the endpoints for our APIs. Then we will test these APIs in Postman. All right, now let's import some packages. Django.urls import path. Okay, and next we have to import views from our views.py file. How we can do? We can import from our online shop dot views import. We have one view which is order view. Okay, so we can easily import our order view in this urls.py file. Okay, so we have to only import these two imports. Now let's declare urls pattern. Okay, here we can declare path for our API endpoint. I will say order. Okay, and then we need to tell this path which view we are going to use for this endpoint. Order view dot as view. Okay, and then we can give name to our endpoint. Okay, which is order we can give. Okay, all right. So now we are done with our urls.py file as well. Okay, next we have to add this urls.py file in our backend folder urls.py file. Just go there. Okay, then we have to include the path of our online shop urls.py file. Okay, how we can do? We can just include our app name is online shop dot urls. Okay, so we can add this include in this import. Okay, all right. Okay, now we are done with our endpoints path configuration. Okay, now let's discuss about Swagger. Okay, we will use Swagger to document our APIs, so we can share with front-end developers or our clients so they can see our all the APIs at one place using Swagger. Swagger is a framework for describing and documenting RESTful APIs. It provides a standard way of documenting the API endpoints, request or responses payload, and other details about the API, and generates interactive documentation that can be used for testing and exploration. So we are going to use Django REST framework package, yet another Swagger generator, okay, which is a package for Django REST framework that automatically generate Swagger documentation for DRF based APIs. So to use this package, we need to install in our project. Okay, so you have to just open your terminal, use this command to install package pip install drf YASC. Okay, so it will install this package. After installing this package, go to the settings.py file. Okay, in installed apps you have to add drf asg package. Okay, so next we have to go to urls.py file and we have to add some code there. Okay, here we have to import from drf dot views import get schema view. Okay, so first we need to import this package, and second we need to import drf YASG dot import open AI. Okay, so first we have to import these two imports. Okay, and next we have to declare a schema view. Okay, I can. Okay, so let me declare it, get schema view. Okay, now add some information here. OpenAI.info title Backend online shop APIs. Okay, and next we have to add default version of this APIs, so we can give a version 1.0.0. okay, and next we can add description if we want. Okay, uh, this is Swagger for our APIs. Okay, then we need to add public. Okay, so it will determine that this Swagger will be public or private. Okay, anybody can access it or not. Okay, and then we have to go to the URL patterns, and here we need to add a path. Path can be Swagger schema. Next we have to now add schema view here with UI, and we can here mention Swagger cache timeout 0, and next we can declare here the name of our Swagger. I can give name Swagger schema. Okay, so you can give any name as well. Alright, so the path is added as well. Okay, now I will go to my development server, python manage.py run server. Okay, so we can something is wrong. Okay, let me go to openai.info. okay, schema view dot comma. Yeah, we need to give a comma here. Okay, if you can see here, we need to add comma. Okay, all right. Okay, now it's reloading. Okay, I have to create another terminal. Okay, so let's run the command again. Okay, now let's visit this, and we will add the path which is Swagger schema. Okay, now let's go to my browser. Okay, I will add the path of my Swagger UI. Schema. Wow. Okay, so you can see this is our Swagger UI. Okay, so you can see we have 4 APIs. Okay, get, post, patch, and order. Okay. Okay, so before we test our APIs using Swagger, we need to just check our code is fine, everything is correct, no syntax issues. Okay, so we can check our serializer file, urls.py files, and views.py file. First of all, we need to check if any error, okay, if any syntax mistake. Okay, so in this file, if you check, we need to capitalize. Okay, it should be capital class meta. Okay, so everything is fine in this file. Now let's go to urls file. Okay, the path is correct. Okay, so now let's go to the views.py file. We need to just review it. Okay, so we can review this file to make sure our code is correct. Okay, everything is fine. Okay, here we need to make sure it's a data, not date. Okay, we can just replace, fix it. All right. Okay, so okay, so everything is looking fine. Okay, now let's test it with Swagger first. All right, so if we look into our admin panel, in our order table we have one entry. Okay, so we can call this using get method. Let's try out, execute it. So we can call this API. In response, you can see it's returning the order detail, okay, because we have one order in our admin. Okay, so we can add another order, so then we can see the response. Okay, we have a customer name code with, okay, and the next we can see test@gmail.com. next we have something, okay, no, let's, yeah, quantity. Now let's go and let's call this API again. Okay, so now we can see we have two order in API response. Okay, so we can test our API using Swagger as well. So it is a great way to test your APIs and document your APIs using Swagger. Okay, so you have noticed when a new order is placed, okay, order is being saved in a database, but a customer is not getting email. Okay, okay, so we can implement email notifications for when an order was placed. Whenever an order was created, the user who placed the order would receive an email with the details of the order. Okay, so the email notification we can create using Django built-in email functionality. Okay, and it will be triggered by creation of an order. So now let's implement how we can integrate email notification in Django. Okay, first you have to go to your setting.py file. Okay, you have to add some configuration for email notifications. First we have to add email backend. Okay, we will use Django built-in django.core.mail.backend.smtp, because we are going to use smtp dot email backend. Then we have to add email host. We are going to use Gmail host. Okay, so we will use smtp.gmail.com. if you're using Yahoo or any other service provider, so you can replace with Gmail. Okay, so I'm going to use Gmail host in this video. Okay, so next I have to add email port. Okay, for SMTP we have to add email port 587. Okay, and then we have to add email host user. Okay, so here you can add your host user. Like if I use my email, which is codewithmoo@gmail.com. okay, from this email I will send notifications to the user when order is placed. Okay, then we have to use email host password. Okay, and here we can define the password. Okay, and next we have to declare email use. It can be TLS. Okay, it should be to do. and then email use SSL, we can make it false. Okay, so these configurations you have to first add in your setting.py file. Okay, you can easily create a new Gmail account first. Okay, then you have to enable two-factor authentication, okay, for your email. Okay, then you have to get the password. Let me show you how you can get the email host password. Okay, when you create a new Gmail account, okay, so you have to go to account first, then you have to go to the security. Okay, here if you have already enabled two-step verification, okay, so you can skip it. If two-step verification is not enabled, you can enable first. Okay, then you have to go to the app passwords. Then you have to create a new app. I will go with custom name. I will give name Django Backend course. Okay, and it will generate a password for me. Okay, so I will copy my password. Okay, and then I will just go to my Django setting.py file and I will paste this password here. Okay, so I will delete this password. So you can also delete the password after testing, okay, for security reasons. So you can see we are almost set up with our configuration of email notification. Okay, now we have to implement email notification in views.py file. Now let's just go to your online shop app and go to views.py file. Okay, here you have to go to post method. This is our post method. Okay, because in this post method we will implement email notification. Okay, so before we implement, we need to import some packages. First you have to import from django.core.mail import send mail. Okay, then you have to import another package which is from django.core.mail import email message. Next we have to import email host user from our setting.py file. So we can import from backend dot settings. Okay, actually this is our folder name which is backend. Okay, and this is the settings file. Okay, from this file we will import email host user. Okay, okay, so we have to import these two things. Okay, only. Okay, now let's move to the post method. Okay, this is the post method. So here we need to add few lines, so when new order is placed, user should get email. Okay, all right, so now let's implement. Okay, before serializer.save you have to implement send mail. First we have to enter subject. Okay, and then we have to enter message, then we have to enter email host user. Okay, from where the email will be sent. Then we have the recipient list, like the persons those will receive email, and then we have to add fail silently to do. Okay, in case email is not sent. Okay, so we have subject, message, email host user, recipient list, fail silently. Okay, so these are the some important configurations. Okay, then we have to know declare the subject. Okay, we can declare subject here. I can say new order is placed. Okay, so we have subject. No, I can declare message. Okay, it's up to me what kind of message I want to send. I want to send dear customer, dear customer. Okay, so I want to add the customer name, so I can concatenate with string. Okay, here I can say the customer name, it should be customer name. Okay, and then I can add another string, your order is placed, no, thanks for your order. Okay, so this is the message. If I show you in details, so you can see this is the message and subject. Okay, now what we can do here, we can add recipient list as well. Okay, so for recipient list, we can just, I will say, we will have email. Okay, so okay, but we need to define this email. I can say we have a customer email when customer place order. Okay, so we can easily get email from customer emails. Okay, so we are now done with our configuration of email notification. Okay, so subject, message, email, host, user. Okay, so everything is configured now properly. Okay, so before we test it, we need to set up the Postman. Okay, and then we will test this email notification as well using Postman. Postman is a powerful API testing tool that makes it easy for a developer to test, debug, and document APIs. It provides a user-friendly interface that makes it easy to send HTTP requests and analyze the response. With Postman, developers can quickly check functionality of their APIs, identify errors, and troubleshoot issues. So let's install Postman. Postman can be installed on Windows, Mac, and Linux. To install Postman, you have to visit Postman official website. Postman.com. Okay, so on this page you have to download the desktop application as per your operating system. So I am using Mac, so I will download Mac operating system file. Mac Intel chip. Okay, so the file is started downloading, so it will take some time to download Postman file. Okay, once the file is downloaded, so you can open this file to start installation process. So you have to follow on-screen instructions to complete the installation. When installation is done, you have to just launch Postman. Okay, you can just click on Postman icon to launch Postman application. Move to the application folder if you are using Mac. Okay, when Postman is launched, create a new collection. Give name collection to your APIs. I will give name Backend course. Okay, so collection is created. Now we can add a new request. Okay, Postman supports several requests. It can be a get, post, put, or delete. So you can choose the appropriate method based on the API you are testing. Okay. So first we will test get request. Okay. So we can also give name to our API for better documentation. I will give name get orders. Okay. I will just copy my localhost application path. Okay, and I will paste it here, and I have to enter the API path. Okay, then you have to just click on send button. Okay, here you can see the response. So we can see the response data. Okay, so if we want to change the method, imagine we have a post. Okay, we want to add some data in our database. Okay, I will just go to the body and I will go to the raw. Okay, and I will choose the JSON format here. Okay, so no, I will post some data here. Okay, so here we have some fields, customer name. Okay, and I will say customer name code with move. Okay, and then I will say customer email. Okay, imagine we have a customer email. Okay, 82@gmail.com. Okay, and next we have, make sure the fields are correct. Okay, next we have quantity field. Okay, so we can give quantity 2. Okay, and then we have a field which is a product. Okay, we have products registered in our admin panel. Okay, so we have one product. Okay, so we can give the ID. So it is only one, so we can give ID of the product. Okay, so if there's a multiple products, so you can replace with the ID. Okay, so we have one, so I will just give the ID of the product. Okay, so all is fine. No, we need to just send a request. Request is being sent. Okay, so our request successfully created. Okay, so you can see we have status code 201. It means request is created. Okay, new order is created in our database. Okay, and also the email is sent. Now let's go to our admin panel and we can see the order. Okay, so you can see we have added the customer email. New entry in our database is easily created. So we can use APIs to post data in our database. Now let me also show you if we have received email or not. Let me open my email account. Okay, so I have not received email yet. Let me confirm my request. Okay, the email is not correct. I have entered wrong Gmails. Okay, so no email is correct. Now let me try code with me 22. Okay, so let me try now. Okay, so order is placed. Now let me check on my inbox. Wow, you can see new order is placed. I have received the email. Dear customer, code with move. Okay, your order is placed. No, thanks for your order. Okay, so we are now receiving the emails as well. All right, if we want to save this, imagine I want to create a collection. I will just give a name to a get request. So this will be our get request. Okay, so I will just save it. Okay, and I will now create another request here. You can add a new request. We can see post create an order, okay, and I will just go to the body and raw, and I will paste, okay. So we can also change email, anything, okay. So all right, so we can give a name to a post, so it will be a post request, okay. And here we need to add the path. I will just copy this. So you can see here we can easily create multiple requests in our collection, okay. And if I want to create this, let's backend course, okay. I want to give name to customer backend course. All right, okay. So, and if we want to convert the quantity to 10 and send a request, okay, okay, new data is added. No, let me go to my admin panel so we can see if this entry is added or not. All right, refresh it. Okay, you can see this customer order is also placed, okay. All right, we can also now try another some examples. Add a request. We want to delete order, okay. How we can delete order? For this we need to go to body and raw JSON format, okay. We need to provide some information that what we want to update. Let's imagine this is our order detail, okay. What we can do here, let's go to, we want to delete this order, okay. How we can do? We have to just pass the ID of order, okay. Imagine we have ID 2, okay. We want to delete order number 2. If I go to my admin panel, okay, so this was our order number 2, okay. So we can delete it using Postman. Okay, all right, let's send a request so we can delete order number 2. Okay, let's see. Oh, something went wrong. Okay, now let's go to the code. So this is our delete method. Where is the mistake? Okay, here is a mistake. We need to make sure because this is our model name, so code is confused. So we can replace the object name with order 1, okay. So hopefully no, it will work. Okay, now let's go and do another request, okay. Okay, no, order is deleted. So we can confirm if the order is deleted. It was this one, so we can see, okay, no, order is deleted. Okay, so you can also update your order as well. Let's create another request. I will create update order, okay. So if we want to update order, what we can do here, we can just send a patch request in a body, okay, in raw JSON format, okay. Here you have to enter some fields to update a particular order, okay. Imagine we have this order in our database, okay, backend course with the client name, with the customer name, okay. We have this course, okay. I want to update the quantity for this order. Let's do it from our API, okay. So this is our order. We need to add the order ID as well, okay. So how I can know what is the ID of this order, so we can update it, okay. So for this I will first check the orders, okay. So we can get the ID of the order from here. So this is, yeah, this is our order, okay, order number 7. We are going to update this order, okay. So I'll just go to update order, and here I will just enter the ID of order, okay, which is 7. Okay, so we are going to update the quantity. I will add 70. Okay, so the new quantity will be 70. No, let's send this request. Okay, something went wrong. Okay, so we need to check where the mistake is. It is good practice if you have any issues, how you can fix these issues. We have to figure out where we have make a mistake. Okay, let me go to the code in patch request. I hope it's the same issue. We need to just do one thing here. We need to replace this object name. Okay, all right, order 1. So no, hopefully it will work. No, let's go to the Postman. No, and no, let's try to update. Okay, now you can see the request is successfully sent. Okay, so the quantity is updated as well. So if you have any issue in your code, you can just check it. Maybe sometime views in views.py file, you can have any syntax issue. You can just easily fix it. So now let's go to our admin panel. So this was our entry. We have updated quantity from 10 to 70. Let's check it. Okay, you can see, so the quantity is updated. So you can also update the data using patch method. Okay, so I will just save it. Okay, so we have a collection, okay, here. So if I want to export this collection, what I will do, just I will export the collection. Okay, I can give any name. Okay, I will save. Okay, if I want to share the collection with others, I can also share it, but before I have to create account or sign in. Okay, after sign in, you can just share the collection with others as well. Okay, so this is all about Postman. Git is a distributed version control which is used for tracking changes in source code during software development. It helps developers to keep track of every modification made to the code and helps collaborate with others. GitHub is a web-based platform that offers version control hosting for Git repositories. It also provides features like bug tracking, feature request, project management, and many other tools for software development teams. GitHub is widely used for open source projects and has become an essential platform for developers to show their portfolio and collaborate on projects. We will discuss 2 ways to push your source code to GitHub. We can use terminal or we can use Visual Studio Code. Okay, let's first of all we need to create a GitHub account. Okay, then we will create a Git repo. Before you can push your code to GitHub, you need to create a repository to store your code. Go to GitHub website and sign up for account. First you need to create your GitHub account. Okay, when you are done with GitHub account creation, okay, it's simple. You have to just sign up. Okay, and then they will ask you to enter your email password. Okay, and then your account will be created. Okay, when you're done with your account creation, then just open your Visual Studio Code. Okay, so in your Visual Studio Code, go to left side pane. Okay, and click on source control. Okay, here we will publish our code to our GitHub account. Okay, so before we publish our code to GitHub, we need to attach a GitHub account. Okay, so I have already attached the account, but I will sign out it. Okay, so I will show you how you can sign in. First you have to go to this icon and select turn on settings sync. Okay, then click on sign in and turn on, choose GitHub. Okay, if you're logged in on your browser, so it will automatically logged in your Visual Studio Code as well. Okay. Okay, now you can see my GitHub is connected. Okay, so before you connect, you need to make sure your GitHub account is logged in your Chrome browser. Okay, so no, we need to just initialize a repository. Okay, we will initialize it and we will just add a commit message, first commit. Okay, I will just click on commit. Okay, and then we will need to publish our branch. Okay, I will give name backend course. Then we need to choose, we want to publish it publicly or private. Okay, so this is a course tutorial, and so I will just push it to public repository. Okay, so you can also access the code as well. Okay, so our code is being pushed on GitHub now. So it's very easy to create a new repository and push your code on GitHub using Visual Studio Code. Okay, so if we want to confirm, we can just open GitHub. Okay, and you can see our code is now pushed on our GitHub. Okay, how you can get a pull request? We need to add a readme here. Okay, so I will just save it. Okay, so I have added a new changes here. Okay, on GitHub. So if I go to my Visual Studio Code, okay, here you will notice that something new is happened on GitHub. Okay, so I will just select on this option. Okay, and you can see readme dot is added in my source code. Okay, so if I make any changes to this code, then I can easily push using Visual Studio Code as well. Okay, so you can see source control has detected one change. Okay, so we can add a new change. You can add any message. Okay, and you can commit a new change. Okay, and this new update will be also pushed to the GitHub easily. Okay, if you want to verify, you can go to the GitHub and refresh it. So we have make a change in our readme file. Okay, so you can easily see it. Okay, so it is very easy to use Visual Studio Code to push your source code on GitHub. Now let's move to the second method, which is using a terminal. How you can use a terminal to push your code easily. Here is our terminal. First we need to make some changes, new changes. Imagine I have added. Okay, so how we can use our terminal to push code? Okay, first of all you have to add this get add, because we have did some changes. Okay, then you have to do a commit. Okay, get commit new changes. Okay, so then you can hit enter. One file is changed. Okay, now you have to push your code. For this you can use git push u origin master, because I'm using master branch, so I will push my code to the master branch. So if your branch name is different, so you can use a different name to push your code. Okay, so I will just click enter. Okay, okay, you can see our code is now updated. So we have two ways to push our code on GitHub, or we can use Visual Studio. Okay, or we can use commands as well. Vercel is a cloud platform for static site hosting, serverless functions, and Jamstack deployment. It was formerly known as and is known for its focus on ease of use and developer experience. With Vercel, developers can deploy their web projects quickly and easily with features such as automatic HTTPS, a global content delivery network, and Git integration. The platform is designed for modern web development practices, including static site generation, progressive web apps, and modern front-end frameworks. It is a popular choice for developers looking for a streamlined and simple solution for hosting their web projects. Okay, so we are going to deploy our Django REST framework project on Vercel. Okay, so first of all, you need to create an account if you don't have one already. Okay, so you can just sign up or you can log in if you already have an account. Okay, so I will continue with my GitHub account. Okay, so when you are done with your account creation, okay, then you have to clone the DRF or Django REST framework project from its repository, okay, on your local machine. You can also clone this project, okay, or if you have your own project, okay, make sure project is available on GitHub. Okay, if you have not pushed your code on GitHub, you can push it first. Okay, then you need to just clone it on your local machine. Okay, then you can follow further steps. Now let's create a file. This is our project code. Okay, I have already cloned. Okay, so I will create a file. I will give name vercel.json. Okay, you have to create this vercel.json file in the root of your project directory. Okay, this file is used by Vercel to configure your project deployment settings. Okay, so we need to add some code in this file. To copy the code, I will recommend you. Okay, so we need to add some code in this file. Okay, I have already written an article on Vercel. Okay, so you can easily copy the commands and code from here. I will add this link in my video description. Okay, so just copy vercel.json file content, okay, and then paste it here. Okay, so here you need to make some changes. For example, you have to replace the project name with your project name. So my project name is Backend. Okay, so where our settings.py file exists. Okay, so we have to give the folder name same where our setting.py file is. Okay, so I have replaced with Backend. Okay, next I have to replace this name here as well. Okay, okay, next we need to add another file. Okay, then I will explain you the code in these files. You have to create another file, build files.sh. Okay, you can also copy the content of this file from my article. You can just copy it. Okay, and then you have to paste it in this file. Okay, now we are done with this file. Next you have to go to this westgi.py file. Okay, here you have to add app is equal to application. Okay, so Vercel can understand the application is app. Okay, so next we have to add some lines, okay, in our settings.py file. Okay, just you have to copy these 3 lines. Okay, and you have to open your setting.py file. Okay, and just go to the bottom. Okay, here you can add. Okay, so you can also import OS. Okay, and then we have to make sure the allowed host is selected to star. It's mean it's allow all the host. Okay, so now we are done with our configuration like vercel.json file, build files.sh, and we have make changes in this file. Okay, also we have done a change in this settings.py file as well. Okay, so also one another thing is we need to comment our database lines as well. If you go to your Vercel code, if you go to VL Studio Code and open settings.py file and go to database lines, okay, so we need to comment these lines because Vercel does not provide a built-in database solution. So you will need to use the external database service such as Amazon RDS, Google Cloud, SQL, or MongoDB Atlas. Okay. To use external database with your Django application on Vercel, you will need to configure your Django settings to connect to the database and specify the database credentials. Okay, so you can either store the database credential as an environment variable in a Vercel, or you can do hard coded them in your Django settings. Okay, but we have to first deploy our Django application. Okay, on Vercel we can just comment it. Okay, and when successfully we will deploy our project on Vercel, then we will attach an external database. Okay, now let me explain you this file. What is in this file? The first build object specifies the source file name and the builder Vercel Python. The builder Vercel Python is used to build Python applications, and the config key specifies some additional configuration options for the builder. The max lambda size option set the maximum size of a single lambda function to 15 megabytes, and running options sets the Python runtime variant to 3.9. Okay, the second build object specifies the source file which is build files.sh, and the builder Vercel static build is used to build static files, and config key specifies the destination directory for the build files, which is set to static files build. Okay, next we have the routes key. The route key is an array of routing objects of each which specify the source URL pattern and the destination for the pattern. The first route object specifies that an array to the URL static should be redirected to the static. This means that any static file in the static directory will be served directly from this directory. Okay, and the second route object specifies that any other request, okay, it can be request that doesn't match with the first route, okay, it should be redirected to the Python file. Okay, so this file is likely to entry point for the Python application, and any other request to the application will be handled by this file. Okay, and then we have a build files. In this build file we are running a command which is requirements.txt file. Then we are running collect static. Okay, so if you want to add some other command, you want to do some customization, you can also do it. Okay, so we are done with our configuration. Now let's commit our code. So I will push my code to GitHub. Okay, so I will just update my code. Okay, now my changes are committed to the GitHub. Now let's go to the vercel.com. Okay, on home page you have to select the repository. Okay, so I have repository backend course. Select on import button. Okay, so this is our build and master branch we are using. So make sure you have chosen your repository and select the branch that contain the Vercel.json file and build files.sh file. Otherwise, deployment will not work. Okay, if you have followed me, so your deployment will be successfully done. Okay, next you have to just click on deploy. So Vercel will now automatically build and deploy your Django project. You can view the status of deployment in the Vercel dashboard. Okay, so our build is failed. Let's check what the issue. Okay, so all right, we have no module found. Okay, so we can install this package first and we can add this in our requirements.txt file. So if your build failed somehow, you can just check the logs, okay, and then you can easily fix it. Pip install drfysg, okay, so you can also copy this package name, okay, and then you have to just replace pip install drf. Okay, so we need to first install this. Okay, this is already installed. Okay, so but we need to add here as well in our requirement.txt. To add in requirement.txt file, pip freeze. Okay, okay, so you can see now we have all the updated packages are in our requirements.txt file. Okay, so make sure you have installed these packages, okay, and updated your requirement.txt file so Vercel can detect these changes and packages to build successfully. Okay, now I will commit the code. Okay, new updates. Okay, so now Vercel will automatically detect new changes. So let's go to the Vercel, and if I go to the home page, okay, so this is our project, so it is automatically detected. So you can see it's starting building our project. So if you want to see the deployments, you can go to the deployments, okay, and you can just click on there, and you can also go to the build, and you can see our build is successfully done. Okay, great. So now we can see that build is uploaded and completed. Now let's visit our website. Okay, you can see it's deployed. So you have your URL, you can just click on visit. Okay, all right, our project is now deployed. We can also visit our admin path as well, and static files, everything also loaded. So it's very super easy to deploy your project on Vercel. Okay, so if you face any error, make sure to check your build logs. Okay, so then you can just fix it, and then you can upload, and then you can push your new changes to GitHub. Okay, and then it will automatically detect, okay, and will update your build code. Amazon Relational Database Service is fully managed relational database service provided by Amazon Web Services. It makes it easy to set up, operate, and scale a relational database in the cloud. To configure an Amazon Web Services relational database service PostgreSQL database with Django, you have to follow these steps. First of all, you have to create an AWS account if you don't have. Then you have to launch an RDS instance. Then you have to configure Django to use the RDS instance. Then you have to migrate your Django models, okay, and at the end you have to test your connection. Okay, first we have to launch an RDS instance. You have to log into your AWS account. When you are logged in, just type RDS in search bar. and select first one. Okay, create a new database. Alright, so we will choose standard create option here. For engine option, we will choose PostgreSQL, and we will keep the latest version of engine version. Okay, and here we will choose free tier. Okay, next we have to give a name to our DB. Okay, so I will give name backend course. Alright, next we have to give a name to our master username database. Okay, so here I will give name my super user. Okay, then I will create a password my super user, my super user. Okay, then we have to keep our instance configuration to micro. Okay, so we will not change anything here. To the storage, it's up to us how much storage we need. Okay, so you can increase decrease storage as well. Okay, so next we have to keep the settings by default, don't connect to the EC2 compute resource. Okay, and next, this is important, we have to select yes. Okay, so we can access our database. Okay, and next we have to create a security group. I will give name backend. Okay, so this will be our security group. Here we have to check additional configuration, so I will use this port 5432. Next we have additional configuration. Okay, so we can keep it by default. Here you need to give name to your database name. It is very important. If you miss this, okay, so your database will not work. So I will give name backend course. Alright, okay, so then we have to just create our database. Okay, I will just create database. Okay, one thing here, you need to make sure the name is compatible with AWS. Okay, so I will just also update my database name as well. Okay, here. Okay, this is here. Okay, all right. Okay, so let's create our database now. Click on create button. Okay, it will take 2-3 minutes to create your RDS. Okay, so you have to wait for it. Sometime it takes 5 to 6 minutes as well. Okay, so RDS is creating. For meantime, we can do some configuration in our Django project. Okay, go to your Django project and settings.py file. Okay, so we will replace these database by default configuration. How you can do it? You have to replace with these lines. Okay, I will add this article link in my video description. Copy these lines, go to your settings.py file and replace these lines. Okay, I will just replace it. Okay, so no, here we need to add our database name. So my database name is backend course. Okay, and my database username is my super user. Okay, and my password is my super user. Okay, all right, so now we have to copy the host. When our RDS will be created, so we can copy the host and we can replace this host. Okay, so before we copy the host, let's install some packages. Okay, so if we want to integrate PostgreSQL, we need to install two packages. Okay, first you have to install this package. Okay, on my side it is already installed. Next you have to install binary package. Okay, all right. Okay, when you are done, then you make sure to add these two packages in your requirements.txt file. How you can do it? You can just do pip freeze requirements.txt. okay, so your requirement.txt file will be updated with these two packages. Okay, so now we are done with our configuration. Just we need to know copy the host. Now let's me go to our RDS. Let me refresh it. Okay, so RDS is being created, so we can wait. All right, okay, so let's just open our RDS. Okay, so this is our host endpoint. Just copy this. Okay, and then you have to replace here. All right, okay. Next we have to do one thing. We have to add a security group inbound role. Okay, just click on security group. Okay, click on security group. Okay, go to the inbound roles. Click added inbound rules. So here you need to make sure your system IP address is added. Okay, so then your connection will be established. Otherwise your connection will not establish. Okay, all right, now we can run migrations. Okay, python manage.py migrate. Okay, so we can migrate our database to RDS. All right, we are connected with our RDS. Okay, so our migrations are successful. In case your migration don't succeeded, it's mean there is an issue with your security group. So make sure security group of your IP address is added. All right, so we can now create a super user. Python manage.py create super user. I will give name admin @gmail.com. okay, so we have password as well. All right, okay, so we can run our app locally, so we can try to add some data. Okay, just copy the development server path. Okay, all right, go to the admin path. Okay, so we have admin username and admin password. Just click on login button. Okay, now here you can see we can add some data in our tables. Okay, so I will add some data. Category name shoes, details. Okay, and then we can add a product. Okay, add a new product. Product name, you can say baby shoes. Alright, you can enter the price and you can choose an image. Alright, and you need to select the category for your product. Okay, so no, we have added the database, so we have a serverless database. Okay, so if we deploy our project to any cloud provider, okay, so we can use the same database. Okay, all right, so we can now push our changes to GitHub. That's it. So you should now be able to use your AWS RDS PostgreSQL instance with your Django application. Amazon S3 Simple Storage Service is a highly scalable, object-based cloud storage service provided by Amazon Web Services. It allows users to store and retrieve any amount of data from anywhere on web. To configure Amazon S3 to store your Django project static and media files, okay, we can follow some steps. First of all, we will need to create our S3 bucket. Okay, so you have to log in into your AWS account. Just type S3, click on S3. Okay, click on create new bucket. Give bucket name. I will give name backend course. Okay, then you can choose your region. Okay, I will choose this by default Virginia region. Okay, and then you have to keep this settings by default. Disable this option. Okay, so okay, next we can keep other settings by default. Okay, in advanced settings we can keep the settings by default as well. Create bucket. Okay, so our bucket is now created. Now let's move to your Django project. Okay, at the bottom of settings.py file you need to add some lines. Okay, you can copy these lines from my article. I will add this article in my video description. Okay, just copy these lines, go to your settings.py file. Okay, so here you need to replace few things. Okay, access key id, secret access key id, okay, and storage bucket name, okay, and signature, everything. So first of all, we have already created a bucket, so I will replace the bucket name. The bucket name is backend course. Okay, and we will keep this S3 signature name as by default. Okay, and then we have to write the region name. Okay, so you can easily go to your AWS. Okay, so this is our bucket name. Okay, so just copy this part of AWS region and go to your Visual Studio. In your settings.py file, replace the region name. Okay, then we need to change these two things, which is AWS access key ID and secret. How we can get this? Go to AWS, go to the home page. You need to create an IAM user that has permission to access your S3 bucket. Type IAM. Okay, the first one. Okay, so this is our IAM management console. Click on user, add a user. You can give any name, S3 access. Click on next. Okay, so here we need to attach a policy. Okay, you can attach policy S3 full access. You can write Amazon S3 full access. Okay, you can select this. Next. Okay, so policy is attached. Create user. Okay, user is created now. Okay, now let's copy secret key and access key. Okay, for this you can go to security credentials and scroll down to access keys, create access key. Okay, and here you can choose local code. And select I understand. Next. Okay, you can give name S3 access. Okay, all right, so you can create access key no. Okay, so this is our access key. We will copy this and we will replace here. Okay, and for secret key we can copy this key and we can place this key here. Make sure don't public these keys, okay, if your data is important. Okay, so I'm just doing for a tutorial purpose. After making this video I will delete these keys. So all right, so we have access key, bucket name. Okay, everything is set up now. Okay, the configurations are done. Next we have to install a package. Go to your terminal. All right, so you have to run pip install Boto3 package. So this Boto3 library will interact with S3 from your Django project. All right, now we can run our server to test our S3 integration. Run server. Okay, just copy this and go to your browser. All right, go to the admin. All right, let's go to product table so we can add a data, because product table has an image field so we can test. Okay, so we are getting an error. Okay, no module found. Okay, so we need to install the package for this. Okay, so you can easily copy this package from Google. Okay, just copy this and install this package so our S3 then will work. Okay, so package is installed. Now I will just run again. Okay, okay, so you can now visit your server. All right, refresh it. Great. Okay, so you can now add a new product. This will be a dress product and in detail. Okay, price you can give. Okay, so here is thing, we are going to upload image, so it will be automatically uploaded to S3. So I will choose an image. Okay, and then we have to choose category and save. All right, so our image is stored. Now let's visit AWS. Go to S3. All right, open your bucket so we can check if the image is uploaded. Yeah, okay, our folder is there. So you can see this is our image which we have uploaded using Django admin interface. Okay, so if you want to open this image, you can also open. Okay, so I have uploaded this image, so it is successfully uploaded on S3. You can also test it using Django admin as well. You can just click on this image, so you will see this image path is linked with S3. Okay, all right. So with these steps, you should be able to configure your S3 to store your Django project static and media files on AWS. Okay. So if you already existing some media files, you can also run Python manage.py collect static as well. Okay. So we are done with our S3 integration with our Django project. If you want to deploy your Django application on the cloud, Amazon Web Service is a great option for production. Okay, so AWS offers a wide range of services that can help you to deploy and manage your application with ease. So now I will walk you through the steps to deploy a Django application on AWS using EC2 Ubuntu server. We will also integrate Nginx and Jonicon as well. Okay, first we need to create an EC2 instance. Okay, so you have to visit to the dashboard. The first step is to deploying a Django application on AWS is to create an EC2 instance. An EC2 instance is a virtual server that runs in the AWS cloud. To create an EC2 instance, you will need to log in to your AWS account and go to the EC2 dashboard. You can just type EC2 and go to the EC2 dashboard. Once you are on the EC2 dashboard, click on the launch instance. Launch instance. From there, you will be prompted to the select an Amazon machine image. Okay, so this is the page. Okay, first we have to give name to our instance. Okay, then we need to choose the image. Okay, we are going to use Ubuntu machine. Okay, for Amazon machine image, you can keep settings by default. Okay, next you can also keep this instance type to T2 micro by default. Okay, and then we have to create a new key pair. I will give name Backend course. We will use this key pair to connect with our instance using SSH. Okay, create a key pair. A file will be downloaded in your system. Okay, here you can create a new security group. Okay, allow HTTP traffic from the internet, also allow HTTP traffic from internet. Okay, so for this you can choose to my IP. Okay, so for the security reasons, it's the best practice to choose my IP. Okay, if you have to keep this to anywhere, then if someone has SSH key, okay, and PIM file, they can access your instance. So I will keep my IP address. Okay, all right, and next we have to keep other settings by default. In advanced detail, we don't need to touch anything. Okay, so click on launch instance. Okay, so our instance is created. So you can go to the instance dashboard. Okay, so this is our instance which is being initialized. So it will take 1 to 2 minutes to ready for the use. All right, our instance is ready to use. Okay, now we need to connect our EC2 instance using SSH. Just select your instance, click on connect button, okay, and you have to choose SSH client tab, okay. Then you have to copy this command, okay. Then you have to open your terminal and paste this command, but make sure you are in the same directory where your PIM file is downloaded, okay. So I will hit enter, okay, and next I will copy this command, okay. Yes. All right, I am connected with my EC2 instance using SSH, okay. Now we need to install some packages first. For this, we have all the commands in this article, okay. So make sure you are connected with your EC2 instance first, okay. You can use your Mac or Linux machine terminal, or if you are using Windows, you can use PuTTY, okay. So now let's copy these two commands, okay, and so we can run these two commands together. Yes. All right, two packages are installed. Okay, so next we have to install the virtual environment, okay. For this, you can copy these two commands, okay, and just paste in your terminal. Yes. All right, okay. So next we have to clone our project, okay. So I have to just go to my GitHub, okay. So I will be using my backend course, okay. So I will just go to my terminal. Here I will clone the project using git clone. Okay, our project is cloned, so we can confirm it. I will just type ls. You can see our project is cloned. So we can just go to our backend project, backend course. All right, okay. So next we have to activate the virtual environment, okay. But before we activate, we need to create the virtual environment using this command, okay. Just copy and run this command, okay. Virtual environment is created. Next we have to activate this virtual environment. For this we can use simply this command, okay. All right, next we need to install the packages we have in our requirements.txt file, okay. So you can also copy this command from article. I will just copy this, okay, and then I will just run this command, okay. And next we have to copy another command, which is pip install Django JohnnyCon. So it will install Django and JohnnyCon together, okay. All right, so we can just copy and paste the command here. All right, okay. Next we have to run these command. Let's copy and run. For Python manage.py migration and Python manage.py migrate, okay. So these commands will not run till your RDS database has permission for this instance, okay. So what we will do here, we have to go to the AWS console now. Okay, here we have to go to the AWS console. We have to type RDS. Go to your database, select it, and now you have to choose security group. Click on edit inbound rules, and here you need to add some rules. PostgreSQL, okay, and here you have to choose the security group of EC2 instance. Okay, so we will check security group, which is this one. Okay, all right. So, and also we need to attach another security group, which is SSH, okay, for our EC2 instance. So I will give security group of EC2 instance. All right, okay, now we will save this role. Now let's go back to your terminal. Okay, so you can see this error was coming due to migrate. So what I will do here, I will need to run the command again, python manage.py migrate. Okay, so you can see the command is working fine now because we have given permission to this instance to access our RDS. Also, I can run the remaining commands as well. Migration command. Okay, no changes detected. Next we have to copy this command. Okay, collect static. Yes. Okay, so next, now we have an important thing about static files. Okay, you need to add some lines, okay, in your project, so your static files will be loaded. Otherwise, when you will visit your URL, okay, you will see there will be no CSS. Okay, so just copy this line, okay, and go to your project. Okay, open settings.py file, go to installed apps. Okay, so you can add it here. Okay, and next you have to copy middleware. Okay, and you need to add this middleware in your settings.py file middleware. Okay, just go to your project, and here you can add. All right, okay, so next, now you have to copy these lines and you need to add these lines in urls.py file in the folder where your settings.py file is. Okay, so I will open this urls.py file. Okay, and now I will add this here. Okay, next, also we need to add some import in the same file. I will just copy and I will add these imports at the top. Okay, all right, now we need to push these changes. Okay, so we have now updated our code. What I will do now here, I will pull new updates. Okay, you have to run a command. Okay, we can pull new changes, get pull origin master branch name. Okay, so it will pull all new changes in our directory. Okay, so new changes are added now on our EC2 project folder, right? Now let's go back to the article. Okay, here we need to know add. Okay, now we need to install this package. This will help us to load our static files. Okay, you can install this package. Okay, next we have to configure JohnnyCon. Okay, so we can configure JohnnyCon. What we can do here, I can just copy this line. Okay, if you want to deactivate the virtual environment, you can also deactivate. Okay, and you can go to the root directory. Okay, and here you can create your johnnycon.socket file. In this file you have to paste this content, copy and paste. Okay, and then you have to save this. Okay, I will just quit it. All right. Okay, next we have to create service file for JohnnyCon. Okay, so I will copy this and I will paste it here, and then we need to copy the content for this file. Let's copy it. Okay, insert the content. Here we need to make some changes. First of all, our project directory name is backend course, so you have to replace your project directory name so it will work fine. So what I will do here, I will replace the name. I will give name backend course. Okay, and here we need to also update backend. Actually this is the same folder name of your project. Okay, so next you have to update another thing here, which is a block dot. Okay, we need to replace the file. We need to replace the folder here. Okay, our folder name is backend, where our WISCI file exists. Okay, so we can replace the folder name. So make sure to replace it, otherwise this file will not execute properly. Okay, okay, so we have done some changes here. So now you can save these changes. All right. Okay, now let's move to the article. Next we have to enable JohnnyCon. First we need to start, then enable. I will copy these two commands together. Okay, okay, all right, so we can confirm. Okay, it's enabled. Okay, next we have to configure Nginx. Okay, before we create a Nginx reverse proxy file. Okay, next we have to configure Nginx. Before we configure, we need to make sure if any Nginx file exists in our system, we can delete it. So to confirm it, you can just copy this and paste it here. So, and you can check. Okay, there is a file in our directory. Okay, so we can first remove this Nginx by default file. How you can do it? You can just sudo rm f default, the name of file. Okay, so file is now removed. Okay, so now you can go back to your main root directory. Okay, all right, next we have to just let me clear it. Okay, next copy this command. Okay, here you need to replace this block with your folder name where your settings.py file is. Okay, and hit enter. Then you need to paste this content. Just copy and paste it. Okay, here you need to change the root path. You have to give your folder name of your project. Control I, insert. Okay, I will give name backend course. Alright, okay, so we don't need to change anything right now. No, just save it. Okay, next, here we need to run this command. Before we run, make sure to change the path name. Replace the blog with your project folder name where your settings.py file is. Backend. Okay, all right. Next we have to run this command to load static file. In place of username, you have to use your username, which is Ubuntu. Okay, so you can use Ubuntu as well. Okay, user group is added. Alright, now let's run these commands so we can check our website. Okay, hit enter. Next we have to start services of Jonicorn. Okay, and next we need to copy this Nginx restart service as well. Alright, now we are done with our project setup configurations. Okay, now let's copy the IP address of our EC2 instance. Go to EC2. And copy the public IP address and paste it in your browser. Alright, you can see our project is deployed successfully. So you can visit the admin panel as well. Okay, one thing here you can see the static files are not loaded properly. Okay, so we need to confirm where is the issue. Okay, first we can move to our project path, backend course, and we can activate our virtual environment first. Okay, so next we have to check our static files. Okay, so you can see our static files folder name is static files build. Okay, so we have to know check our nginx file to confirm the folder name is correct or not. Alright, so you have to just go to your nginx file. Okay, just you have to copy the same command we used earlier. Okay, and in this file you can see we have a wrong folder name, so we can update it here. Okay, our folder name is static files build. Alright, okay, let's save it. Okay, so now we need to run two commands to restart the services again. So when you make any changes in the code, so you have to just run these two commands. Okay, so I will copy these two commands. Alright, so I can just double check, so everything is fine. Okay, now let's go to your IP address and refresh it. Alright, wow. So if we had to make any mistake, it is a part of learning. Okay, so make sure if the static files are not loaded, so make sure to figure out where is the issue maybe the chances are the nginx file is not configured properly. Okay, so you can just check what is the name of your static files folder and you can just replace it. Okay, now let's log in because we have already configured the RDS as well. All right, so we can also log in into our server as well. Okay, so you can just see the category we have added. Okay, category is there. Okay, so you can also add data and many other things as well. So our project is deployed successfully. Now we have an IP address. Okay, so we can point this IP address to our domain. For this we need to follow some instructions. Okay, first of all, you must purchase a domain from somewhere. Like you can purchase domain from GoDaddy, okay, or you can purchase from any domain provider. Okay, so I have already purchased a domain. Okay, next we have to create account on Cloudflare. Okay, so you can create a free Cloudflare account first. Okay, so I will just create account. Okay, when you're done with Cloudflare account, so you have to go to the menu. Okay, you have to register a domain. Okay, but before you need to verify your email address if your account is new. All right, my email is verified now. Now let me add my domain. Okay, I have domain muhammadrashid.com. Okay, so I will add this site. Then we need to follow some steps. Okay, so you can choose a free version. Okay, and continue. So it will scan your DNS. Okay, okay, first we need to review it. Next, here we need to remove these name servers. Okay, so if I go to my manage DNS on my GoDaddy domain, what I can do here, because I have to update these name servers, okay, with my Cloudflare name servers. Okay, so I will just copy first one and I will replace, okay, the first one, and I have to copy the second one as well. Okay, save it. Continue. Okay, so sometime it can take time. Okay, mostly name servers get updated in next 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, all right, so you can check your name servers if they are changed or not. Okay, from here you can go to the DNS now. Just you have to remove these extra fields we don't need. You have to just delete it. Just delete all the records, so we will add a new record. All right, okay, so now we need to add two record. One will be a record and other will be a CNAME record. So we need to copy the public IP address. Okay, so I will just copy the IP address we have, and next I will add it. Okay, so we need to remove this. All right, okay, so we can save. Okay, next we need to add CNAME record. All right, okay, so here we need to add the target, which is www.mydomainname.com. okay, and then here we need to write the name. Okay, it can be www. Okay, We can remove www from here as well. Just save it. Okay, done. So we have added two record, cname and a. So now we can check if this domain is working and connected to our IP address. Okay, I will just paste it. Okay, so you can see our project is now live on our domain as well. So it is very easy if you want to integrate domain. Okay, so you can just use Cloudflare. Okay, and just you can update the servers. Okay, and your IP address will be pointed to your domain easily. Okay, next we need to integrate SSL certificate to our domain. How we can do it? First of all, we need to connect with our EC2 instance using SSH. Okay, so first of all, I will just go to my AWS console. Okay, just select your EC2 instance and connect. Okay, let me copy this command. Okay, and I will just run this command. Alright, then we have to run our SSH command, this one. So we will be connected with our EC2 instance. Alright, I am connected with my EC2 instance. Okay, next we have to just run few commands so our SSL will be installed. Okay, so you have to just copy this command and run this command here. Okay, if file exists. Okay, next we need to copy the second command and paste it here. Okay, and next we have to copy this command. Okay, when you will enter this command, they will ask you some questions. Okay, so you have to fill all the forms. Okay, okay, so you can just write the country name. Okay, province. All right, next we have to enter the city, and you have to enter the organization. You can enter any dummy as well. Imagine I want to add test TE. Okay, and no, here you need to add your domain name. Okay, so I will just add .com. All right, here I will add my email. Okay, so hopefully our SSL will be installed. Now let's visit our domain. All right, okay, now let's add HTTPS. Okay, wow, so you can see, so our site is now secured. We have installed the SSL as well. Great. I hope this video has been helpful in introducing you to the world of backend development using Django and Django REST framework. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel. If you have any questions or feedback, leave a comment below. I will get back to you. Stay tuned for more courses and tutorials. And until next time, goodbye.